Hi BL enthusiasts, in today's video, I'll be reviewing episode 9 of Khemjira The Series. This episode is one of the most emotional and spiritually intense so far, but at its heart, it continues to highlight the bond and romance between Pharan and Khem. While there are plenty of supernatural elements, dramatic rituals, and moments of danger, the core of the episode lies in how much these two characters are willing to endure for each other. I'll be breaking down the key events, the symbolism behind certain scenes, and of course, what this means for the future of Pharan and Khem's story. The episode begins in the aftermath of Grandma C's passing, and immediately, the emotional tone is set. Even though Pharan is not front and center in every scene, his presence lingers throughout. The guilt and regret tied to Grandma C's death ripple through Khem's heart, and what makes this significant is how it affects his relationship with Pharan. Khem feels as though he has become a burden, as if the tragedies surrounding him bring misfortune to everyone he loves. But Pharan's role here is not to let him drown in guilt, it is to stand as his protector, his constant reassurance, and the person who will not let him give up. From the very start of their relationship, Pharan has made it clear that Khem is someone worth saving, someone worth fighting for. That message continues in episode 9, as the episode reminds us of Pharan's earlier promise that once Khem came into his life, he would never allow him to face suffering alone. What we see is a deepening of this vow, as Khem's tears, his breakdowns, and his fears are all met with Pharan's steady presence. There's a very powerful scene where Khem sobs, clutching onto the people around him for support, and you can tell how fragile he feels. In many dramas, this could easily make the character seem helpless, but here it only magnifies how much he values the love and protection being offered to him. And when Pharan's name is invoked, the reassurance feels stronger because their bond is spiritual as much as it is romantic. For Khem, Pharan is not just a lover, he is also a guide, someone who understands the weight of curses, spirits, and obligations. That dual role makes their connection stand out in the BL genre. As the story progresses, the trio, Khem, Jet, and Chan, travel to a temple for shelter. This section of the episode is rich with spiritual symbolism. They choose to stay at a temple rather than a hotel, and this is no small decision. It emphasizes how much of Khem's struggle is not just emotional or physical, but deeply tied to the spiritual world. When they rest in the sala, in front of the large Buddha statue, the arrangement of their sleep, Khem in the middle, flanked by his protectors, mirrors his role in Pharan's life. Khem is the heart, the fragile yet precious center, while Pharan, through Jet's loyalty and guidance as well, is the shield that guards him. One detail I found striking was the chanting of the monks throughout the night, unseen by the characters. This hidden layer of protection parallels what Pharan has always been to Khem, a quiet yet powerful force working to keep him safe, even when Khem doesn't realize the extent of the sacrifice being made. And this theme, protection without asking for anything in return, forms the emotional bedrock of their romance. The next day brings us to one of the most pivotal sequences, the meeting with Buayoi, the shaman. The tone shifts here from mourning and guilt to negotiation and hope. Jet's persistence in pleading for Khem's safety introduces tension, but it also reinforces the fact that Pharan has chosen allies who will protect Khem at all costs. What's fascinating about this scene is how it indirectly reflects on Pharan's influence. Even though Pharan is not physically present, Buayoi recognizes Khem as Pharan's disciple. This recognition alone highlights how closely their fates are intertwined. To love Khem is to walk in Pharan's shadow, and to protect Khem is to challenge forces that even Pharan himself avoided. When the black rosewood is revealed, its meaning goes beyond being a magical artifact. It becomes a metaphor for Pharan and Khem's relationship. Just like the wood, their bond has endured darkness, curses, and centuries of suffering, yet remains unbroken. It is rare, valuable, and deeply rooted in sacrifice. The fact that Khem is given this protective gift underlines how Pharan's love manifests not just in words but through the forces moving around him. Every item, Every ritual, and every chant seems to be an extension of Pharan's enduring promise to guard Khem until the very end. The anticipation grows as the trio return to Bangkok. The plan is simple yet tense: stay together until Khem's 20th birthday. If they can survive the week, the curses and spirits that haunt him will lose their power. But here is where the romance intensifies beneath the surface. The idea of counting down to a birthday, of enduring days together in close quarters, sets the stage for intimate moments between Pharan and Khem. For Khem, this is not just about survival, it is about realizing how much Pharan is willing to risk and how deeply his love runs. What really struck me in episode 9 is how love is portrayed not just as sweetness, but as endurance. Romance here is about loyalty in the face of danger, about sacrifice without hesitation, and about giving strength when one partner feels weak. For Pharan and Khem, love is not fragile, it is forged through trials, curses, and near-death encounters. This is what separates their relationship from other BL couples. Their intimacy is not shown only through gestures or words, but through the constant act of shielding each other from harm. Thematically, the episode also addresses guilt, redemption, and destiny. Khem's guilt over Grandma C reflects his tendency to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, but Pharan's love insists that he does not need to bear it alone. Redemption comes through the help of others, Jet, Chan, and more Kralet, but ultimately, it is Pharan's presence that defines the meaning of salvation for Khem. Destiny is also at play, as everything seems to lead toward Khem's 20th birthday, where their love will either be freed from curses or tested beyond measure. As a viewer, what I loved most about this episode is how it balances the supernatural with the emotional. The curses, spirits, and magical artifacts are engaging, but they never overshadow the human story at the center: two souls, bound together, fighting to stay in each other's arms. Every supernatural element is really just a mirror of their romance, showing us how powerful love can be when faced with forces that want to tear it apart. In conclusion, Episode 9 of Khemjira the series is not just another installment of suspense and mystery, it is a pivotal chapter in the love story between Pharan and Khem. Their romance shines through guilt, danger, and spiritual trials, reminding us that love is not about avoiding suffering but about enduring it together. With the countdown to Khem's 20th birthday now in motion, the stakes are higher than ever, but so is the strength of their bond. For fans of the series, this episode is a reminder of why we root so passionately for this couple, because their love is rare, unyielding, and worth every sacrifice.